a bill that this wasn't a test balloon bill. I mean, this passed out of committee. Did it come out too fast? Were there things you learned after the fact, or things that surprised you that you didn't realize?
Well, it's hard to say that a bill that was in committee for 7 months and had 10 hearings and multiple iterations came out too fast. What I think probably some of the things, and one of the things I was concerned about is a lot of the concerns, especially the doomsday scenario, really weren't brought forth during the committee process. In fact, we had some sort of initial testimony from some of the groups about the general ideology of this kind of thing. But really it wasn't until the last hearing that we had a lot of folks stand up and bring their concerns. I think really what this shows is that the legislative process doesn't end because there's been a committee hearing or because it's voted out of the House. I've had, probably 24 meetings with public school officials of different varieties over the past 2 or 3 months. And, when I would say to them, when they would say to me, one individual person, for example, would say to me, first year I'm going to lose 20% of the kids in my school. And you've seen this colloquy back and forth among folks. We have the best schools and all our kids are going to leave. And somebody would say, well, why, if your school is so great, why would people leave? And when you get into those sort of, that bit of sophistry, it's tough for anybody to get to a conclusion. And so what we simply said is, well, look, just to bring an end to that, because of what we think is kind of the core of the program, let's put in the program what we think it ought to be. And that's why I think, we have a lot of, I think in the public's mind, what House Bill 136 is. And it would be pretty hard to change that. So I think it's probably why it's more appropriate to bring this forward in another vehicle of some kind, whether it's another House bill or part of the governor's program, or allowing the different stakeholder groups to weigh in on this program.
Just real briefly, the governor, if I remember correctly, in his budget thing earlier this year, proposed a doubling of Ed Choice vouchers. The legislature said that's not enough. We're going to quadruple the number from 4,000 to 16,000 or something. Now you're saying that's not enough. We need to do more. Could you just comment on, to some people that seems, wow, that's just a big increase percentage-wise. Why do we need to do so?
Yeah, just to be clear, the Ed Choice program, the Cleveland program, was established in 1995. I don't think there's a limit on the Cleveland program, is there? I don't think there is at all in the Cleveland Public School District when it was established in 1995. And there's some other different limitations on income and things like, or the amount of the scholarship. When Ed Choice was established in 2005, I think was when that was passed, it originally had a restriction of 14,000 statewide. That's all it could be. And there were, of course, many folks who said, well, all these kids are going to leave the public schools, and then there were other folks that said, well, people don't really want to use it. Well, kind of in between is what happened. Over a period of time, more people became aware of it, took advantage of it, and we were at the point where, and I'm getting to the answer to your question, we were at the point where the demand by the customer, the citizen of the state of Ohio, was, we like this program. We want to take advantage of this program. And so there were people being denied because of income limits. If you made over a certain amount, you didn't get that. And so the governor's initial budget actually doubled that from 14,000, I think, to 28,000. And then over a period of time, it would then go to 60,000. So that's how it happened, but it doesn't all happen immediately. So the answer to your question is, this is a different program. It's not based on where you live. It's not based on all of the kids, averaging all the test scores of all of the kids in a particular school, and then deciding if it's low enough, you get a scholarship. And I understand the thinking for Ed Choice and how it got that way, but if you really think it through, designating an entire school building as failing because the average of all of the kids goes below a certain amount really doesn't make a lot of sense. And I know my Ed Choice friends are going, why are you saying that publicly? And it's because the system ultimately needs to change. It should be based like every other program that we have, whether it's Medicaid, whether it's phase out of income tax exemptions, all of the other things that we have, it ought to be based on need and ability to pay, not some arbitrary standard that's created for a particular reason.
So was it your hope that ultimately Ed Choice and the Cleveland program go away and eventually everything kind of morphs into what you proposed?
Well, that's what I started with in March. I think probably hope is an overstatement. I think that these programs ought to be based on ability to pay and income. And let's face it, that's how all scholarship programs are in the real world. Well, we're in the real world, but in the private world. This is nothing more than a Pell Grant. If you make enough money and your kid applies for a Pell Grant, he doesn't get it. If your local scholarship fund has an income base that says, hey, kids who can't afford to pay for college, you apply for that. Some people don't get it because they make too much. Every kid who goes to school now has to fill out a FAFSA form, and the school's going to use that in determining your financial aid. You got a lot of money, you don't get any aid. And of course, we have academic scholarships and athletic scholarships and all those things. But all of the other scholarships regarding education, not all of them, many of them are based on ability to pay. There aren't too many that says, well, if you live within the city of Columbus, you're eligible, but if you live in Worthington, you're not. Although I'm sure there's a private scholarship somewhere that says that. So.